This is Tak Chung from Walk with Tak. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. The other night, my wife and I decided that we're going to have a lo mein dish. We were kind of hungry, and we would like to have this dish quick. No problem at all, because I have most of the things prepped in advance. So okay, let's get into the kitchen and get started. I'm first going to fry the shrimp because this way it will allow me to better control the texture of the shrimp. I use a method which we refer to as pan frying or sometimes as shallow frying. Basically, I lay the shrimp on the flat surface of the wok. I'm going to fry it on one side first and then I'll turn it over. The shrimp I use are large shrimp. They're individually frozen, so I can use as many or as little I want. And when I put them in a bowl of warm water, they will be thawed out in about 5 to 6 minutes and they are ready to be used in cooking. The cornstarch plays an important role. It's not only to provide crispiness for the shrimp, but it also protects the shrimp so that it keep it moist and tender inside. I'm very particular about the texture of my shrimp, and my wife feels the same way too. This method, how we cook the shrimp, is probably the best we have found. We will not let anybody else to cook the shrimp for us. Next, I'm going to add the bell pepper, which I have already cut up, and thus prepping in advance plays a significant role to increase the efficiency of the cooking. The reason I decided to add to the wok and cook the pepper at this time, because I want the pepper to be lightly cooked, and this seems to be the perfect time to coordinate these two ingredients together. And then now I'm going to transfer what I cook into a container. I'm going to set it aside and I will add it to the noodle dish at the end. Okay, now I'm ready to cook the vegetables. I add some more cooking oil. I use canola oil in this particular case, and I'm going to put the green beans into the wok first. I give it a little bit stir fry to basically to coat the green bean with oil, and then followed by adding the Brussels sprouts. Now I combine the green bean and Brussels sprouts together for this dish because both of them require similar amount of cook time. As you can see, I add more green beans than Brussels sprouts because I make the decision that the green bean is going to be the primary ingredient for this dish, and the Brussels sprout will serve as a supplemental ingredient. I enjoy both green bean and Brussels sprouts a great deal, but I do not like to eat them all by themselves, so combine them together is a good compromise to give myself some variations and diversity. At this point, I added some more cooking oil. As you can see, is that both the Brussels sprout and the green beans take up a lot of oil. Now at this point, you notice that the bottom of the wok actually getting pretty dry because the oil has been consumed by these two ingredients. The lack of oil at the bottom actually has an important role to provide great flavor to the dish, because when you don't have oil, the ingredients will tend to be slightly charred by the heat come directly from the bottom of the wok. This slight charring adds flavor to the food ingredients, particularly when it comes to vegetables. It gives the vegetable with a slight touch of a grilled flavor. And it is a really good sign when you notice that the vegetables are slightly charred. A next step is that I'm going to add some water to the ingredients because that will provide some moisture and give the vegetable a more tender taste. You can control the texture of the vegetable by allowing to steam a little bit longer if you want it to be more tender. The next step is for me to season the dish. I'm going to start out with some oyster sauce to give it a more savory flavor to the dish. And then I'm going to season the dish with some of my basic seasoning mix. The basic seasoning mix contains seasoning agents that will add to the umami flavor of the dish. So if you want to learn more about the basic seasoning mix, you can take a look at this video. Followed by that, I add some soy sauce to give some saltiness to the dish. Again, you can decide how much you want to season the dish. Of course, the natural flavor of the green bean and Brussels sprout is already wonderful. To create a sauce to go with the noodles, I'm adding more water to the wok. I want to make sure that I have enough sauce to cover the noodles. After mixing it briefly, I'm going to do a quick taste test to make sure that the sauce is strong enough. And if not, I'm going to make adjustment accordingly. Do not hesitate to make taste testing along the way because this is how you're going to fine-tune your flavor. So I decided I'm going to add a little bit hoisin sauce to provide some sweetness to the dish. I'm going to use some cornstarch to thicken the sauce. There are many different ways you can do that. One way which I really prefer is that I'm going to add the cornstarch directly over the surface of the food ingredients. This makes it much easier. But make sure at this point turn down the heat because if the heat is intense, the cornstarch will thicken immediately and that will sometimes cause lumps. Of course, the amount of cornstarch you're going to add will affect how thick the sauce is going to be. And I want this sauce to be relatively thin. For this dish, I'm going to use about 2 cups of angel hair noodles, which is about 12 ounces. I cooked the noodles in advance. In fact, I cooked it in the wok. The wok turned out to be a great vehicle for cooking noodles. I usually cook enough noodles that I can use it over several meals, and they keep quite well in the refrigerator. And now the dish is done. I transferred it onto a large serving plate. As you can see that this meal is rather light in noodles but heavy in vegetables, and this is what makes this dish nutritionally beneficial. And because I have everything prepped in advance, it makes this dish relatively efficient to cook. The total cook time starting from the shrimp up to this point is a little bit over 10 minutes. So finally, I'm going to transfer the shrimp and the pepper and put them over the noodles and the vegetables. This dish is a lot of fun to cook, and the primary reason that it is so fun is because I have everything prepped in advance. So finally, I drizzle a little bit of oyster sauce over the top of the dish, and now the dish is ready to be served. Both my wife enjoyed this dish very much, particularly the shrimp and the green bean. As you can see, we did a really good job. We ate a lot of food here, so how does it stack up nutritionally? The shrimp is a great source of protein. It is relatively low in calorie. For 5 ounces, it only contributes 115 calories. For 3 ounces of bell pepper, it is only 17 calories for all the nutritional value and vitamins that it provides. Green bean has great nutritional values, particularly for fiber. Here for 12 ounces of green bean, a total of 108 calories. Similarly, Brussels sprout is nutritional and low calorie. For 8 ounces of Brussels sprout, there's a total of 98 calories. Expected that the pasta is going to be the main source of calories. Here I use 12 ounces of pasta for a total of 575 calories. So here is the final tally of the dish. All together with other ingredients in it is 1012 calories. If I want to reduce the calorie of this dish, obviously the first thing I can cut is the pasta. By removing 4 ounces of pasta, I can reduce the calorie to 820. I can further make the final adjustment. For example, I can reduce the number of shrimps in it, and I can reduce the calorie even further down to 774. For those who prefer a vegetarian dish, the calorie could be even come down further down to 705. However, if you have more people going to be at the dining table, then you can up the different components and increase it, in this case, up to 1700 calories. So as you can see, that is the great advantage of template-based cooking, because there are many possibilities for modifications and adjustment based on your personal preferences. So there's always going to be a judgment that you're going to make depend on the amount of calorie you want to consume, as well as what type of a taste that you want to include in the dish. My wife and I will always make adjustment, even though we might be cooking the same dish, depending on how much calorie that we feel like we need to have in this particular week. If you feel that we are in a calorie excess, then we will eliminate those items that are high in calorie. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. See you next time.